Thank you very much, and hello, good morning, everybody. So my talk is very much about how we at the agency actually communicate the outcome of safety reviews by the PRAC and other activities of the PRAC. I will, to some extent, focus on safety referrals, but I will also want to point out to you where you can find additional information resources on the safety of medicines. Now, I would like to start my talk with really reminding all of us that transparency and communication are key objectives of the new legislation. And I believe that the reason for this is that good information translated by good communication, made available by good communication, is a key aspect of risk management, because good information can provide timely evidence-based information on the best use of medicines. It can facilitate changes to healthcare practices. It can improve attitudes, decisions, and behaviors in relation to the use of medicines. It supports risk minimization behavior, and in the end, it also facilitates informed decisions on the rational use of medicines. Now, I have taken these actually out of our GVP module on safety communication, and I believe when I talk you through what we are doing for the PRAC, we tried really to use this as the underpinning values and fundamentals of the activities we are putting in place. So now, I think before I go into the actual details, when we talk about safety reviews, in the end we have, I would say, 3 distinctive steps in the whole procedure where we communicate. We communicate at the beginning, at the start of a safety review by the PRAC. We communicate at the point of the PRAC recommendation. That means when the PRAC has actually reached their conclusions. And then the PRAC's conclusions are not the final opinion yet. No, they actually then go further, either to the CHMP for anything that is related to centrally authorized medicines, or the CMDh, that's the coordination body for the mutual recognition and decentralized procedure, for anything related to these products. So let's talk about first at the beginning of the procedure, the start of safety referrals. When we have a start of a referral, and in fact you will see that tomorrow when we actually communicate about the PRAC that is just happening now, we always start with an EMA announcement of start of referral. That is a document that's written in plain language. It contains a summary of the issue. It contains more information about the medicines. It also contains more information about the procedure. In addition to that, and that's actually really, it's something that's new and has come with the new legislation on pharmacovigilance, and really it expands very much what we have done so far in terms of transparency and communication of these procedures. We also publish a whole list of new documents that we had never published before. We publish now the notification that we receive by the member states requesting the PRAC to start a referral procedure. We publish the list of questions that the PRAC drafts and sends to the companies to be answered, and we publish a timetable so that you actually have a good overview when you can expect finalization, or when you can expect which aspects in the procedure. If I may, I would suggest we probably have a quick look at an example, a very recent example from last month. It's the referral procedure on diclofenac. As you can see, we have this overview page. And you basically, when you come to this, you come up with this, the EMA announcement of start of referral procedure. Here's the text. And I invite you really to go back and have a look at it. But you also see we have here on the top, we try to guide you through at which point of the procedure are we actually. So we are actually, procedure has started and we are now here, it's under evaluation. Then we have a tab Key Facts where you can have all the information about the medicine in a very, very short format. It's very much regulatory information, very quick view. And then here you find all the documents that are available. So that is the text you saw on the first tab as a PDF document. You see the referral notification. I can open this for a moment, which basically just shows you what we have received from the MHRA, where they ask us to start this referral procedure. Now, I don't want to get lost here. Then we have the list of questions by the PRAC. So this is something that goes to the companies where you can see what additional information the PRAC is requesting from the companies to aid them in the evaluation. And finally, we have the timetable here. So this gives you a good overview when are things to happen. I think that's really something that's a big add-on, because so far referral procedures had not really a timetable attached to it. So it's actually much more, it helps you really in planning and informing your members in advance when they can expect an outcome of these procedures. So this is what we do at the start of the referral procedure. Now, let's come to the PRAC recommendation. And here I have to say I'm actually talking of something that will happen in the future, because so far we are starting referral procedures, and we are starting them at an increasing rate, but we have so far not yet come to that stage. So I'm just basically giving you here a little preview of what is to come. When we have a PRAC recommendation, we will give out, or we will produce a summary of that PRAC recommendation. Again, it's a document written for lay readers. The format will be most likely a question and answer document. And what we really want to ensure with this document is, number one, that the public understands the process and what the PRAC recommendation actually means, because it is not the final EMA opinion. I think that is very, very important. So we do want to avoid alarmism at this point in time, because the CHMP or the CMDh may actually take a different view. But it's important that people know that this is not final, and it's also very important that people will know what happens next. So what is the next step, and what is the time frame for the next step? Now, as I said, I don't have an example to show you here, but as we have seen from the timetable, in the next 6-7 months, we certainly will have some, and hopefully at the next session we can also look at this and get your feedback from that. And then let's come to the next point, or the final point in this referral procedures in terms of the EMA. This is the time when the PRAC recommendation will have been considered by the CHMP for centrally authorized medicines and the CMDh for mutual recognition procedures or decentralized procedures. At the time, we will produce an EMA public health communication. Now, this will change something that you probably know already. At the moment, when we communicate about the safety of medicines, the outcomes at the CHMP, we always produce a press release and a question and answer document. In future, we will merge these documents into one single piece of information that will have, in fact, 3 distinct sections. One is a summary of the issue, and that kind of is probably the general introduction. It's very much probably written still for media in mind, but also to give everybody who wants to see a quick overview of what the issue is and what the main conclusions are. Then we will have very specific information to patients with specific advice, what patients should do after the conclusion of this referral. And we will also have specific information to healthcare professionals. And on this, we will really want to expand to provide more background on the studies that have been looked at, conclusions from the studies, maybe more references. We will work, and I look to Juan here, but I think the idea is also to work with the healthcare professionals group to get a better understanding for what they want and to integrate this. Now, these documents will have to, in case there are any, explain the divergences with the PRAC recommendations. I mean, as we all know, we have not been there, and we will see what comes. But should there ever be a divergence between the PRAC recommendation and the CHMP or CMDh recommendation, we will need to explain this, and this is the document to do that. And finally, we will send this. We send this document to our press contacts, to our patient contacts, that is to yourselves, and to the healthcare professional contacts to syndicate it out and really inform people widely about the new recommendations. Now, these are, of course, not the only information we provide, and I think Roberto has already touched on it. The activities of the PRAC are really very meticulously covered, actually, by the minutes, by the agenda, and also by what we call the highlights of the PRAC meeting. I have here a little screenshot, so just for you to see where you can find this. And normally you find it through the committee pages. I wanted to give you a little overview of when you can expect what documents to be published. We aim to make the agendas available on the first day of the PRAC by midday the latest. So that's normally the Monday of the PRAC. There you can see the agendas. You have an overview of what's being discussed. Then we have the highlights of the meetings. And that's kind of a quick overview of what has, what were the main aspects, what safety referrals have been started, will be made available at the Friday of the PRAC week. That is tomorrow for the current PRAC. And then we also make available the minutes of the PRAC meeting. And the minutes are always made available 1 month after the PRAC, together with the highlights, because the PRAC needs to approve the minutes, so that's why we have that 1 month delay. But after 1 month, you see a fairly detailed description of what has happened. Now, I'll just give you a little overview of the minutes, because I think it's it's again a real departure from what EMA used to do in the past, where we did not make much information available. Whereas now we have this document, the minutes, where you have actually a really good overview of what the PRAC is discussing. Of course, there's the introduction section where they talk about conflicts of interest, etc. Then you can see the kind of procedures that were being discussed. You see here is the new procedure on codeines. Then your question regarding the rapporteurs actually comes up here because what was that? Because we do publish in the minutes who is rapporteur for which procedure. Further down, you can see the signals assessment and prioritization. So that's the whole signal detection exercise. And there's a section on risk management plans, on PSURs, etc. So I think it's a very useful document, and certainly also one that is probably worthwhile pointing out to your members in helping them understand what the PRAC is doing. So, and before I come to the end of my talk, I would just like to really give you a little preview of further things that are to come, because I think we, in terms of transparency and communication of the PRAC, we certainly haven't reached the end. This is a process that's kind of going on and hopefully is continuing and increasing. There will be, at some stage, there will be a summary of risk management plans for centrally authorized medicines, and I believe there's a presentation on this a little bit later on. Soon we will be publishing a list of medicines that are subject to additional monitoring, and hopefully by next year we will start to hold public hearings of the PRAC. And then I hope there will be also other things. There will be things we are learning, and it's kind of a continuing journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monika, very much. I think it was very, very, very clear and very informative. So I would like to say a couple of things. First is that this information is really an effort to have it really in time, to have really friendly information just at the time the committee finishes, we deliver this information. So we will ask, because we are going to send all this to you, to organizations that you disseminate within your organization, because especially when it relates to an area of your interest, because that's maybe the complement we need to really be effective. And also just to say that the minutes, just to complement what Monika said, are really useful document, but not only, they are the only document. They are the minutes of the committee. They are not another document that we keep for ourselves. So this is the document which is a little bit keeping track of what the committee's outcome is. And finally, just to propose that because tomorrow we are sending out, we are publishing all the outcome of the committee, which is taking place now, we will send like a post mail with all the presentation and everything, and we will include the link, so you will have access to this information, so you can see exactly what is the committee communicating. So before finalizing, maybe we can take any question. Yes, Albert?
Yes, a small one. One of the new things is that there will be an opinion of the PRAC and an opinion of the CHMP. We do not expect that it's much not in divergence, but it can be. In that case, and what I say now is something between a suggestion and a question, but should that not be an excellent situation for a public hearing? Should there be not a divergent opinion of the two committees?
I think as with public hearings, we at present the idea is to stay very closely to the words, to the letters of the legislation, and the legislation actually gives the opportunity or possibility to hold a public hearing to the PRAC. So we would actually expect that public hearings would have been held already. So, however, if one can imagine that. In a situation where there is a divergence between the PRAC and the CHMP, we're probably talking of very controversial aspects anyway. So the likelihood that we would have held a public hearing is there, I would say.
Paul, yeah.
I think it's very good, and we really appreciate that you make your documents readable for lay readers. But on the other hand, if we have to disseminate them and collect feedback from our members, there's a bottleneck of language. We have the experience and we have the tradition of consulting our members, and it only succeeds when we translate the question in 21 languages. It's a problem, I know.
No, we are very much aware of this. And for example, when we produce public-friendly documents for new medicines which are authorized, this we can do with more time and we translate them. But this, I mean, the important thing is that it's delivered at the time that committee makes. So we are working on the documents today, we publish them tomorrow, and there is a restriction here.
Yes, but you have a very good bias when you only have responses from people understanding English.
Maybe just a little remark on that. We are also part of our coordination with our network actually aims at making them to provide that translation. So we are actually sending our documents in advance to the network, and the bigger agencies, they actually do translate and they try to provide it. I think it's a matter of resources across the whole network.
Try to be positive. I think more and more we are coordinated within the Euro network, and we in a way we give the documents in advance to them so that sometimes they translate and they can public with the same text information in their language. But yeah, so I think thank you very much, Monika, and Liz, please.
Very quickly, because I think it's quite amazing that these documents are public. I think it's in a way, quite daunting. before there was a talk of that there would be some kind of communication group or something like that, because I think it's quite important that patients and consumers are involved. I know risk communication is extremely difficult, but is there anything like that to be built up, or?
But we will continue to involve patients in the preparation of safety information, and systematically they pre-test, in a way, they pre-test these messages, and we will continue with doing that. We cannot support financially this work. You do it for free and voluntarily, but we appreciate very much, which is very, very useful.
And I mean, also the feedback we receive in forums like this is actually very, very useful, and it helps us to improve. So we really appreciate a lot any comments we get from you. And I think probably at the moment that's our best way forward, to really invite you to comment, invite you to criticize, to praise what you think is good, to make proposals for anything we could do on top. And if we can, we do try to take this into account.